Mea Culpa Monday, SEC Power Rankings. It's college football smothered and covered on a Monday afternoon.
You are Locked On College Football, smothered and covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome in. Today's show brought to you by Game Time. You download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege. That's Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, Locked On College. You get $20 off your first purchase. Hey, thank you for making this your first listen every single day. We have a big show. It is Mea Culpa Monday. Of course, that's when I tell all of you how stupid I am, which is always fun. And of course, we also do SEC Power Rankings on Monday as well. So let's get into it. Mea Culpa Monday. I did not think there was any chance in hell that Alabama would lose to Vanderbilt. I know it's easy to say, hey, look, got this wrong. I got this wrong. After what happened against Georgia, I just thought, hey, look, Alabama's going to keep on rolling. Kalen DeBoer understands how to win in the SEC. It was huge for the future of the Alabama program. And I was wrong. Let's get into why. Alabama looked like the worst team. Vandy was better. You put that game in a vacuum. All right, take the uniforms off. Give one team a black one team a white one. Watch the game itself. Vandy was the better team. They won on the offensive line, defensive line. The offensive scheme was better. The defensive scheme was better. The quarterback was better. The discipline was better. Everything about that Vandy game, everything about that Vandy team showed that they were a better football team. It wasn't a fluke. It was a butt whipping. It was a curb stomping by a better football team. Now, is that sustainable long-term? Probably not. But it's very concerning for Kalen DeBoer. And this is why. To be an elite team, to be an elite program, you have to sustain success. That's why Nick Saban was great. That's why Urban Meyer was great at Florida. That's why Kirby Smart is great right now. That's why Gene Chizik failed. That's why Ed Orgeron failed. They did not sustain success. They didn't know how to do it. They took the wrong steps. We've never had a situation where Kalen DeBoer has to sustain success. He's jumped from job to job to job after winning at a high level. It's not his fault he hasn't had the chance to sustain success. He's gotten bigger, better jobs because from what he's been able to do. So he hasn't been able, he hasn't won a championship. He obviously at Alabama, he hasn't won a championship. He hasn't, won the SEC, whatever. So he hasn't had to prove it with the Crimson Tide. But this is the first chance that he's had at a small level to prove it. You go into a week where you're playing an air quote lesser opponent after what happened in Tuscaloosa the week before. It's okay. It's understandable to come out a little sluggish. I mean, that happened to Nick Saban a lot, right? The Georgia Southern game way back when he said Georgia Southern ran through their ass like a tin horn. There's been a lot of other situations. Georgia State was one a long time ago where I think they might have been tied at halftime. But things get fixed. Things get fixed in a hurry, right? Happens with Georgia a lot. Things didn't look good against Auburn. Got fixed. Things got worse for Alabama. I know they came back and had a chance or whatever. Things got worse. The discipline wasn't there. Malachi Moore's kicking balls that have already been spotted across the field. His ass would have been on the bench under Nick Saban, or under a lot of coaches. Defensive issues weren't fixed. Vandy's ability to use Alabama's speed against it wasn't fixed. It didn't even look like it was addressed. So on a smaller scale, the first chance that Kalen DeBoer had to prove that he can sustain success, he failed. He failed. That's why I called him on Saturday night Kalen DuBose in honor of Mike DuBose, because he failed. Now, maybe Kalen learns his lesson. I don't know. But that's concerning. That loss is concerning on a lot of levels. And if I'm an Alabama fan, I am very concerned, because you're sitting here thinking, and look, I said before the season, okay, if Alabama goes 9-3 in Kalen's first year, fine. There's no blueprint for replacing Saban. I get it. It shouldn't happen longer than 1 year, but if they miss the playoff, fine. It's different now. It's way different now. So Alabama, Vandy, you're the first. You're the first topic on Mea Culpa Monday, because what happened in Nashville, I never saw coming. And good for those folks in Nashville, carrying that goalpost 3 miles from West End and dumping it in the Cumberland River. That was pretty awesome. Second topic on Mea Culpa Monday, the Michigan Wolverines. I thought they'd figure things out. Alex Orji can't pass, but, they could figure out the offense and let him run and whatever. They lose the rematch with the national championship in the national championship game, part 2, against a Washington team that's still sort of figuring itself out. They don't know what they are yet at Washington under Jedd Fisch. I don't think that Will Rogers really is a good quarterback for the Huskies. Didn't think he was that good of a quarterback for Mississippi State, despite putting up all those stats. Michigan has no idea what to do offensively. Alex Orji was so bad in fall camp, they were forced to start Davis Warren. When he sucked, they had to go back to Alex Orji and try to figure things out. Now you have Jack Tuttle coming in, who's been all over the place during his career. He gives them a spark for like a minute and a half, and then he fumbles once and throws a pick. Again, sort of like with Alabama. You're okay giving a coach some leeway, especially this year at Michigan. Harbaugh's gone. You have a young coach. He's done it before on a smaller scale. When Harbaugh got suspended, all these players are gone. So, okay, maybe things will work themselves out. Will they? Because what I saw from Michigan and what we've seen from Michigan this year is a team that has no freaking clue what it's doing. And that's on Sharon Moore. So do you get a mulligan? Yeah, a little bit. In the sense that if you don't make the playoff, fine. But this team looks utterly incompetent offensively. That is what you're concerned about. And look, this is his first time doing it, despite the suspension games. This is his first time doing it. So he gets a longer leash than Kalen DeBoer. But man, they look wretched offensively. He is going to have to completely change his offseason plan, his offseason, how he addresses the offseason. Because if it happens next year offensively, things are going to get sketchy. All right, third up on Mea Culpa Monday, Nico's dud. Nico Iamaleava. What do we say about Tennessee? We said it on the show all the time. It's defense, it's running backs, running game. That's what has led Tennessee to where they are, a top 5 ranking. Nico's just kind of been okay. That's all they've asked him to be. They didn't need him to come out and be a superstar, but he's just been okay. He had nothing. His head was spinning against an Arkansas defense that, full disclosure, is a lot better than folks realize, and even a lot better than the stats tell you. Travis Williams, their defensive coordinator, he better be a Power 4 head coach next year. That dude can coach. That dude can motivate. So you have to give some credit to Travis Williams. With that said, what is Nico doing on the final play running out of bounds? You got to know better. He got rattled, and he couldn't get himself out of it. Does that mean he's Joe Milton? No, of course not. But to me, I thought he would be better in a tough environment. Yes, it's a hostile environment. It's on the Arkansas is a very tough place to play, but they've got a better team with better talent and a better scheme. And I think that loss is on Nico. So mea culpa Monday, Nico, very disappointed in you. USC is a fraud, kind of lost in all the chaos of Saturday. USC looked awful against Minnesota. Solid Verbal does a thing, great podcast. They do a thing called Secret Garbage. USC is secret garbage. They got exposed. They, to Lincoln's credit, he made some decisions and showed that he was less stubborn than a lot of folks, myself included, thought he was by going out and getting D'Anton Lynn and going out and addressing some deficiencies that maybe needed to be addressed. And then they've regressed. The offensive line's bad. The defensive line is frustrated. It's so annoying because they addressed it and it looked good for 3 games. And then, bam, they're awful again. USC is garbage again. Did not see that after what we saw for the first 3-4 games. I told you I did a complete 180. I thought USC was going to be better. I thought after the first week and even the second week, even though they lost, that fundamentally defensively, they were there. They had addressed it. And then they've regressed. And I'm like, what the hell? How is this possible? Mea culpa Monday, USC, rough. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll go through SEC power rankings. It's college football smothered and covered. Of course, we are powered by Locked On. Today's episode brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for a small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and free. It's not just a job board, though. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open for the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. All right, SEC power rankings. Now, basically, I had to completely restart this. If you get mad at me for, hey, Team X beat Team Y, and so why are they ranked underneath? Like, look, there's almost no way to do power rankings in the SEC after what we saw over the course of the weekend. But I'm going to try. I'm going to do a bad job. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the graphic in front of you. If you're listening on audio, I'm going to run through them real quick. I know if you're listening, or watching on video, it's kind of annoying, but whatever. I urge you to go watch on YouTube if you are listening. But SEC power rankings. We're going to Texas schools, Texas A&M, LSU at number 3, Georgia at 4, Alabama at 5. Don't get me started on the head-to-head. Alabama has the better win, but also the worst loss. Ole Miss at 6, Tennessee at 7, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Vanderbilt at 10, Arkansas 11, Missouri 12, Florida 13, South Carolina 14, Auburn, and Mississippi State. Okay. Texas A&M's legit, y'all. The way they used Connor Wegman was unbelievable. They used him on the ground. He's not what Marcel is on the ground, but he's more than a willing runner. Noah Thomas is a freak. That defense we've known is next level. I know Missouri might be overrated, whatever. Do not let that take away from what you saw against Texas A&M. The foundation was sort of reset when Wegman went out. They didn't have a chance to instill what the new offense was supposed to look like. Now they've seen it. Now they've used it. So Texas A&M at number 2, I don't think is crazy at all. In fact, do not be surprised if Texas A&M makes the SEC championship game. LSU is their toughest game outside of the Texas game at the end of the season. That game's at home. Their toughest road games are like Auburn or South Carolina. Like, come on. Texas A&M's making the SEC championship game. Firmly believe that they're making the SEC championship game. Now, the Georgia-Alabama conundrum, you can look at it either way. Alabama, of course, beat Georgia, but Alabama lost to Vanderbilt on a day where they got beat by a better Vanderbilt team, at least within the confines of those 60 minutes. Now, if you want to go the other way and say the head-to-head matters more, fine. The argument's there. I totally understand. Alabama fans will say that I'm just a Georgia homer, even though I grew up hating Georgia more than Alabama. But whatever, if you play the homer card, if you play the bias card, you are weak. The bias card is a crutch for the weak. So if you use that in any argument, it means that you don't have an argument. But if you want to make a case that Alabama should be ahead of Georgia, you can make a good one. You can make a pretty good one. Now, Tennessee dropping to 7. The defense is still good. The running game is still good. Curious about Nikos. Want to see what he does against Florida. But, I didn't really know where to put Tennessee. Put them above Oklahoma because Oklahoma's got its quarterback situation. We all know what's happening there. If they compete with Texas this weekend, I honestly have no clue where to put the Sooners. I'm not going to lie. No freaking idea where to put the Sooners. Missouri drops all the way to 12. And I know Missouri fans will say, yeah, it's one loss. Yeah, it's one loss. But your defense is supposed to be one of your strengths, and it got lit up like a Christmas tree. Brady Cook is supposed to be a superstar. He's below average. Luther Burden is a monster. You can't get him the ball as much as you need to. We had Eli Drinkwitz on this show a couple weeks ago, and despite being 4-0, he was pissed. He was mad. There were a lot of issues on this team that he saw that he needed to address during the bye week, and he did not do it at all. And that is what's concerning, is that you had the opportunity to, and nothing happened. In fact, there was regression. Now, I think one issue that a lot of folks will look at and question is Vanderbilt at 10. I know they lost to Missouri, but they have the better win, a much better win. So they're a couple spots ahead of Missouri, but then there's the Georgia State issue. I think they deserve credit. Vanderbilt deserves a ton of credit for being a better team within the confines of the 60 minutes against Alabama more than anything else. Should that cancel out the Georgia State win? Almost. Because if you can be what they were on Saturday and show that the ceiling is that high, but then on the other hand, show you what the floor is, then that doesn't cancel it out, but it makes it a concern. Enough of one where you can't just put them at, like, skyrocket them up to like top 5 or top 6. Like, could that Vanderbilt team become what the Commodores were under James Franklin when they won back-to-back games or back-to-back 9-win seasons? Yeah. Should we put them there now? No. Could we consider it a possibility? Yes. But now, sort of like with Alabama, let's see what happens this week against Kentucky. Can Clark Lee sustain that kind of success? Can Pavia not get caught up in the headlines? We haven't seen it yet. But if they do, then you should move Vandy up more. But I tell you what, that Vandy team does have some staying power. The ability to recognize how specifically you want to operate an offense and going out and hiring these guys, hiring Beck, using Jerry Kill as a consultant, trusting that they can go out and use Pavia in a way that they did at New Mexico State in the SEC on a week in, week out basis, not just a one-off against Auburn, takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of foresight, and it takes a lot of acumen. So Clark Lea deserves a ton of credit for this. And then from a game plan perspective, to do everything they did, especially offensively, using Alabama's speed against them, certainly makes it look like they can be what they were under James Franklin. Maybe not 9 wins a season. Maybe it's 8, maybe even 7, and that's okay. It's Vanderbilt. So it was a little tough to figure out where to put them. But as you can see on the screen, I put them at number 10. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. It's college football smothered and covered. And of course, we are powered by Locked On. Today's show brought to you by Game Time, the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. You can filter only incredible deals on great seats with Game Time picks. See the view from your seat on your phone before you buy. All-in pricing shows you the total cost up front, and you can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. I got a concert ticket from Game Time. We went to the Luke Bryan concert at Truist Park. There were a lot of people going. We had a babysitter for the kids. Mother-in-law was like, "Hey, you want to come hang out with the kids?" Sure. What are we going to do tonight? Well, let's go to Luke Bryan. It's great. He was sick, and he admitted it. Still a good concert, but the tickets were super cheap, and they were there right for me. Did it, 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours before the concert started. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right. One thing that is very important, near and dear to my heart, you see on the shirt, Highlands, North Carolina. You see on the hat, Highlands Smokehouse. Western North Carolina got hit pretty hard, guys. Got hit really hard. There's not enough help out there. Donate to the Red Cross. Send items, water. They need a ton of water, bottled water, food, whatever you can up to Western North Carolina. Highlands got spared a little bit. That's where my family lives some of the time. It's a great vacation place. But up towards Asheville, Banner Elk, Boone, things are really, really bad. So give what you can. Please help out. Those people need it. They're not getting the assistance they need from the federal government. That is not a political statement. It's the truth. They need help. So please donate what you can. Please donate what you can. Looking forward, biggest weekend of the season in terms of ranked on ranked matchups. Ohio State, Oregon. Think about how great that's going to be. Now, I'm not making a pick on that game until later in the week, but I was asked about it on Sports 56 in Memphis. The idea that Oregon can't win the line of scrimmage is concerning. It is concerning. Can they cover Jeremiah Smith? I don't think anybody on the planet can. But it's on Will Howard. It's in a hostile environment in Autzen. So that game, more than anything else, is what I'm looking forward to in week 7. But there are a lot of other ones. There are a lot of other ones. Red River Shootout. Buddy. Oklahoma has no quarterbacks. Texas has 2. But what happened in the bye week? What do we see from both of those teams? Had some time to fix it, so a lot coming later in the week on that game as well. Hey, for your second listen, go check out Locked On College Football. Spencer McLaughlin does a great job over there getting you ready for the week as well. You can see the description on how to get there. The link is right below. I'm pointing down for those viewers on YouTube. If you're listening, it's still down there, so go check it out. Tuesday morning, going to have a big one for you. So come back, please check it out. Write a review. Hey, if you want to be part of the subtext as well, you can talk to me personally. You can text me. I can text you. You can tell me how stupid I am, and I'll respond directly to you on your phone. Till next time, have a good one. Talk to you Tuesday.